This bill and this issue will be no exception. While protecting our citizens is paramount, it cannot come at the expense of diversity that has made it so great. Nor can safety mean a compromise of freedom for some, while we, the many, turn a blind eye. We must acknowledge the truth. People across America are watching Arizona, seeing how we implement this law, ready to jump on even the slightest misstep. Some of those people from outside our state have an interest in seeing us fail. They will wait for a single slip-up, one mistake, and then they will work day and night to create headlines and get the face time they so desperately covet. We cannot give them that chance. We must use this new tool wisely and fight for our safety with the honor Arizona deserves. We must react calmly. We must enforce the law evenly and without regard to skin, color, accent, or social status. We must prove the alarmists and the cynics wrong. I know in my heart that this great state, my home for more than 40 years, is up to that task. I believe every one of us wants to be safe, and none of us wants to compromise on the subject of civil rights. I believe we must love and honor those who fight beside us, just as we must love and honor those who look and believe nothing like we do. I believe Arizona, like America, is governed by laws, good laws, well-intentioned laws, laws that confer respect, that demand respect in return. In his third State of the Union address, President Theodore Roosevelt said, and I quote, "No man is above the law, and no man is below it. Nor do we ask any man's permission when we require him to obey it. Obedience to the law is demanded as a right, not asked as a favor." End of quote. So let us move forward, ever mindful of our rights, ever faithful to the law, and ever conscious of our bonds as Arizonans and the blessings we share together. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It seems to me that while the bill says race and ethnicity may not be used as a sole factor,
I can't hear you, Howie.
it seems to me that while the bill says race and ethnicity may not be used as the sole factor, it does allow them to be used as a factor. How can that not lead to some form of racial profiling?
No different than any other reasonable suspicion, Howie. I mean, we have to trust our law enforcement. You know, it's a simple reality. And, you know, I'm issuing an executive order to AZ Post. The rules will be laid out. I expect that report to be returned to me in May and go into effect so that everybody understands just exactly what is required. You know, it is so important that we are carefully implement what this law does, and that is my intent. You know, I will tell you, after 28 years of public service, we have faced a lot of different issues in the state of Arizona, and alarmists on many occasions would state that this is going to happen or that's going to happen. And, you know, if it's handled properly, if the people of Arizona come together, if everybody is armed with the right information, this can happen, this can work. This law, the laws in Senate Bill 1070 mirror the laws of the federal government. Police officers are going to be respectful. They understand what their jobs are. They've taken an oath. And racial profiling is illegal. Next question. Yes?
With that said, can you please explain to me what criteria you would use to determine if someone is an illegal immigrant? What does an illegal immigrant look like?
I do not know. I do not know what an illegal immigrant looks like. I can tell you that I think that there are people in Arizona that assume they know what an illegal immigrant looks like. I don't know if they know that for a fact or not, but I know that if AZ Post gets themselves together, works on this law, puts down the description, that the law will be enforced civilly, fairly, and without discriminatory points to it.
Governor, how much did politics play into this decision for you?
I'm
How much did politics play into this decision?
You know, I guess politics is an interesting thing. Politicians are people that are elected. They
Governor Jan
operate
Brewer now answering questions after making history this afternoon and signing into law the toughest law in the nation against illegal immigration. The measure would make it a crime under state law to be in this country illegally. It would also require local police officers to question people about their immigration status if there is a reasonable suspicion that they are in this country illegally. The governor appealing for calm today, and the question now is whether that will happen. And for reaction, we're going to... Obviously, Craig is not hearing me, and we'll see if we can establish.
Which is a bad sign.
We'll see if we can establish proper communication with Craig. So, appealing for calm. That was the governor just a few minutes ago, but it was not calm apparently this morning at the offices of Congressman Raul Grijalva. He had to close his Arizona offices today at noon because the congressman said that his staff was receiving so many threats and racial slurs. Now, this happened after earlier this week the congressman came out and actually called on convention business, sporting events, and visitors to boycott Arizona if this bill was signed into law. That has happened now, and obviously the congressman is sticking by his guns. He's calling for this, and this, as we saw in the controversy a number of years ago over Martin Luther King Day, it's very likely to continue to grow at this point. There will be other calls. But Congressman Grijalva has closed his state offices today. As I said, the law is the toughest in the nation, and it's getting reaction from Washington, D.C. President Barack Obama today called the bill misguided and said it could violate people's civil rights. He wants the Justice Department to see whether it's legal. Meanwhile, hundreds of protesters were here in Tucson today, and thousands of protesters around the state capitol this morning calling on the governor to veto this legislation. And she obviously has not. She has signed it into law. Be sure to stay with KGUN Not on Your Side for all of the latest Immigration Watch at 5 and 6 this evening. We'll be getting reaction and following the developments on the signing into law of the toughest immigration bill in the United States, SB 1070. I'm Guy Atchley. Have a good afternoon.